Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the English Learning Podcast, the show where we help you speak better English step by step. I'm your host, Brain.
And I'm Anna. Thanks for joining us today. If you've ever said, I know some English, but I don't have the words to express myself, you're not alone.
Exactly. One of the most common problems English learners face is a limited vocabulary. You might understand English, but when it's time to speak, you freeze. You think, what word do I use? What's the right phrase?
That's why today's episode is going to be super helpful. We're talking all about how to improve your English vocabulary, not just memorizing random words, but learning in a smart, practical, and fun way.
And we're not just giving you boring tips. We're sharing real strategies, personal experiences, and even a vocabulary challenge at the end of this episode.
So if you want to speak more fluently, understand better, and feel more confident in every conversation, stay with us.
Let's get into it.
All right, Brain, let's start with the big question. Why is vocabulary so important? Why can't we just learn grammar and be done with it?
Haha. Good question, Anna. Grammar gives your sentences structure, but vocabulary is the actual content. Without words, there's nothing to build. Imagine you know how to build a house, but you don't have the bricks.
Exactly. You can know all the grammar rules in the world, but if you only know 50 words, your conversations will always be limited. You'll repeat the same things I like, I go, I eat over and over again.
And that gets boring fast, not just for you, but for the person you're talking to.
Let's talk real life. Imagine this. You're at a restaurant and you want to complain politely because your food is cold. You could say bad food or I don't like. But if you have more vocabulary, you can say, "Excuse me, my meal is cold. Could you warm it up, please?"
Boom! That's the power of vocabulary. It helps you sound more natural, polite, and confident. You can express your thoughts clearly, and people will respect that.
Also, vocabulary helps you understand better. The more words you know, the easier it is to follow movies, books, podcasts, even everyday conversations.
That's right. When you grow your vocabulary, you're not just learning words, you're building your voice in English. You're becoming a better communicator.
So, are you ready to learn how to grow your vocabulary the smart way?
Let's do it. And we'll start with one of the most powerful strategies: learning words in context. So let's jump into our first strategy: learning vocabulary in context, not in isolation. Anna, what does that mean exactly?
It means you don't just memorize a word by itself, like flashcards with just apple, sib. Instead, you learn how it's used in a full sentence or situation. That way, your brain understands how the word really works in life.
Exactly. For example, don't just learn the word decision. Learn the full phrase, make a decision. That's how native speakers actually use it.
Right. And if you take it further, you can learn a full sentence like, I need to make an important decision about my job. Now you've learned how to say it, when to say it, and how it feels.
Here's a fun example. When I was learning Spanish, I kept trying to remember the word lluvia, which means rain. But I could never use it correctly until I heard someone say, Hoy va a haber mucha lluvia. There's going to be a lot of rain today.
Ah, so you remembered the sentence, not just the word.
Exactly. That sentence stuck in my brain like glue. That's the power of context. It helps you remember better and speak better.
And guess what? Your brain actually loves learning this way. When words are connected to a story, emotion, or image, you remember them faster and longer.
So if you're watching a movie or listening to a podcast, don't stop and translate every word. Just listen to the full sentence. Try to guess the meaning from the situation.
Here's a great tip. Start collecting useful phrases instead of just single words. Write them down in a notebook or your phone.
Yes, And even better, write a personal example with it. For example, instead of just writing frustrated, write, I felt frustrated when I couldn't explain myself in English.
That's learning in context, and it's way more powerful than just memorizing a long word list.
Coming up next, we'll show you how to actually use those words in daily life so they stick with you.
All right, so now that you're learning words in context, here's the next powerful step. Use the vocabulary in your daily speaking. Don't just read it, speak it.
Yes! If you don't use the words you learn, they'll just disappear from your brain. It's like buying vegetables and never cooking them. They'll just rot in the fridge.
Haha, exactly. So the goal is to take new words and put them to work. And don't worry, if you don't have someone to talk to in English every day, you can still practice speaking.
One of my favorite techniques is talking to myself in English. Sounds a little weird, but it works. I describe what I'm doing. I'm making coffee. The water is boiling. Now I'm adding sugar.
I do the same thing. And if you learned a new word like frustrated today, then use it right away. Say something like, I was frustrated this morning when I lost my keys. That's how your brain starts owning that word.
Here's a great trick. After learning 5 new words, challenge yourself to use all 5 in one conversation, even if it's just with yourself.
Or better, record yourself speaking. Use your phone, talk for 1 minute using the new words, then listen to how you sound.
That's such a great idea. You build fluency, improve pronunciation, and strengthen memory all at once.
And hey, if you have a language partner or tutor, tell them, hey, I'm trying to use these 5 new words today. Help me use them in sentences.
The key takeaway here is, don't wait until you're perfect. Just use what you know. Even if the grammar isn't 100% perfect, it's okay. Speaking is how you grow.
Absolutely. Fluency comes from practice, not perfection. The more you speak, the more natural those words become.
Coming up next, we'll show you how to boost your vocabulary passively just by doing things you already enjoy. Reading and listening. All right, let's move to another powerful method to grow your vocabulary. Read more and listen more.
This is huge. Reading and listening give you natural exposure to new words all in real context. And the best part? You don't have to study too hard. You just enjoy the content, and the learning happens along the way.
Yes, it's like learning without even realizing it. When you read a story or listen to a podcast, you hear new words again and again in real sentences. That's how babies learn language, and adults can do it too.
I always recommend learners to start with easy English books, graded readers, short stories, or even children's books. Don't worry if it feels too simple. You're training your brain to see how words are used naturally.
And if you're not a reader, don't worry. You can listen to English podcasts just like this one, or watch English shows with subtitles.
Yes, shows like Friends, The Office, or even animated movies are great. You'll pick up so many useful phrases like, what's going on, or that makes sense.
Here's a fun tip. When you watch or read, don't try to translate everything. Just enjoy the story. If a word repeats and you still don't know it, then you can look it up.
Right. You don't need to understand every word. You just need to understand the main idea. And slowly, your brain will start to recognize the new vocabulary on its own.
Also, listen to the same audio multiple times. Repetition is magic. The first time you just understand the story. The second or third time you start to notice the details. That's when new vocabulary sticks.
And here's a challenge for our listeners. This week, read 1 short English story or watch a 10-minute video with subtitles and write down 3 useful phrases you didn't know before.
Great challenge, Anna. So remember, reading and listening are like food for your English brain. The more you consume, the more you grow.
Coming up next, we'll talk about a small habit that makes a big difference: keeping a personal vocabulary journal. Okay, so we've talked about learning words in context, using them in daily speech, and getting more input from reading and listening. Now, here's a super simple but powerful tip. Keep a personal vocabulary journal.
Yes, it doesn't have to be anything fancy, just a small notebook or even a notes app on your phone. The idea is to collect the new words and phrases you come across every day.
Right, and don't just write the word. Write the full phrase, the meaning, and one example sentence. That helps your brain connect the word to real life.
For example, if you learn the word confident, you could write, confident feeling sure about yourself. Example, I feel confident when I speak English slowly and clearly.
Exactly. And even better, try to make the example sentence about your own life. That makes it more personal and easier to remember.
Another great trick is to organize your journal by topics. For example, food, travel, feelings, work, daily routine. That way, you can review words when you need them.
And if you're artistic, feel free to add colors, drawings, or emojis to make it fun. The more you enjoy it, the more likely you'll keep using it.
Make it part of your daily habit. Just write down 3-5 new words every day and review them at the end of the week. You'll be surprised how fast your vocabulary grows.
So listeners, grab a notebook or open a new note on your phone. Your vocabulary journey starts today.
Coming up next, we'll show you a great way to review all those words and never forget them. Flashcards and spaced repetition. All right, so you've got your vocabulary journal going awesome. Now let's talk about how to actually remember those words long-term. One of the best tools for this is flashcards and spaced repetition.
Yes, flashcards are a classic method, but they still work like magic, especially when you use them the smart way. You can use paper cards or apps like Anki, Quizlet, or Memrise.
And here's the key. Don't just review the cards randomly. Use something called spaced repetition. That means you review each word at increasing time intervals like today, then 2 days later, then 5 days later, and so on.
This is how your brain remembers best. It's like reminding yourself just before you forget. That's when the memory becomes stronger.
Exactly. You don't need to review everything every day. The spaced repetition system does the work for you. It focuses more on the words you struggle with and less on the ones you already know well.
And when you make your flashcards, include the word or phrase, a simple definition, an example sentence bonus if it's about your life.
For example, front, turn a blind eye. Back, to ignore something on purpose. Example, the teacher turned a blind eye when students whispered in class.
That's a great one. And here's a little challenge. Set aside 5 minutes every day, just 5 minutes to review your flashcards. Small steps, big progress.
Coming up next, we're going to share some personal tips that helped us expand our vocabulary faster and more naturally. All right, Anna, now it's time for our personal tips. These are the little secrets that really helped me improve my vocabulary faster.
Ooh, I love this part. Brain, what's your number one tip?
Honestly, my favorite trick is learning vocabulary through stories. When I read or listen to a story, I try to remember a few key words or phrases from it. Then, I tell the story in my own words later, using those words.
That's smart. So you're not just memorizing words, you're practicing them in a meaningful way.
Exactly. Stories give words life. And when you use words to tell a story, they stick better.
For me, I love using vocabulary games and challenges. Like, I set a timer for 2 minutes and try to say as many new words as I can related to a topic like food, emotions, or travel.
That sounds fun. It makes learning feel like a game, not a chore.
Exactly. Also, I try to connect new words to images or emotions. For example, if I learn the word excited, I think of a moment I felt really excited. That makes the word more memorable.
Those are great ideas. Another tip I have is to use songs or movies. I pick a favorite song, learn the lyrics, and write down any new words. Then I sing along and try to use those words in my own sentences.
Love that. Music makes vocabulary fun and natural.
So, listeners, find what works for you, stories, games, songs, or pictures, and make it part of your learning routine.
Remember, learning vocabulary doesn't have to be boring. Have fun with it, and you'll see amazing progress.
Up next, Anna has a special challenge for all our listeners. Ready?
Ready, let's do this.
All right, everyone. Now it's time for my challenge, and I promise, it's simple but powerful. Ooh, I love challenges. What is it, Anna?
Here it is. This week, I challenge you to learn and use 10 new English words or phrases. But don't just memorize them, actually use them in your speaking or writing.
Nice! So, instead of just keeping those words in your head, you want to make them part of your daily life.
Exactly. You can try talking to yourself, writing a short paragraph, or even texting a friend in English using your new words.
And here's a tip. Pick words that you find interesting or useful for your own life. That way, it feels natural and fun.
And don't worry if you make mistakes. That's part of learning. The important thing is to try and practice.
We'd love to hear about your progress, too. Feel free to share your 10 new words in the comments or tag us on social media.
So, are you ready to take the challenge? Let's grow our vocabulary together.
Awesome! Let's keep going. All right. Before we wrap up, Anna, I want to remind everyone listening. Learning vocabulary is a journey. It takes time, patience, and practice.
That's so true, Brain. Sometimes you might feel like you forget words or you're not improving fast enough, but that's completely normal.
Absolutely. Even native speakers forget words sometimes. The key is to keep trying, keep speaking, reading, listening, and using new words every day.
Remember, it's okay to make mistakes. Mistakes mean you're learning and growing. The more you practice, the more confident and fluent you'll become.
Think about it like building a muscle. Vocabulary grows stronger the more you use it. So keep going. Even small steps add up to big progress.
And most importantly, have fun with it. When you enjoy learning, it becomes a part of your life, not a chore.
Exactly. So don't give up. You're doing great.
We believe in you!
All right, let's quickly review what we talked about today. To improve your English vocabulary, remember these key steps.
First, learn words in context, not just single words. Then, use those words every day by speaking or writing.
Next, read and listen to English as much as possible. It's like feeding your brain with new language naturally.
Keep a personal vocabulary journal to collect and organize your new words.
And practice reviewing with flashcards using spaced repetition to remember words long-term.
Plus, don't forget to find fun ways that work for you like games, stories, or songs.
Most importantly, be patient and keep practicing. Vocabulary grows step by step, and every small effort counts.
We hope today's tips help you feel more confident and excited to build your English vocabulary.
Thanks for listening.
And remember, you can do this.
Thanks so much for joining us today on the English Learning Podcast. We hope you found these vocabulary tips helpful.
If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a new lesson.
And please leave a comment or share your vocabulary challenge progress. We love hearing from you. And please leave a comment or share your vocabulary challenge progress. We love hearing from you.
Also, share this podcast with your friends who want to improve their English too.
Stay tuned for our next episode, where we'll dive into even more ways to boost your English skills.
Until then, keep practicing, keep speaking, and we'll